Hello, welcome to Crystal Chat. My name is Carla, and I am here to talk about crystals and crystal energy, metaphysical properties of crystals. I just love crystals, so that's what we're talking about today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Thank you for joining me and listening to me talk about crystals. So this week, I wanted to just do some crystal eye candy and show some of my favorite crystals that I have in my collection. And it just so happens that as I was picking a couple to talk about, they all are examples of two minerals growing together, which I think is super cool. So the first one that I want to start out with is one that I picked up a couple years ago from a small vendor from Brazil. This guy was so cool. He was so nice, a younger guy. And he is Brazilian, and he and his sister have friends who worked in the mines, and that's how they started picking up their inventory to sell. So this is probably something that, one of his buddies in the mines got and eventually worked its way to me. And it's this right here. So I'm going to try and show. It's so pretty, so unique and cool. And what this is it's aquamarine on the bottom and morganite on the top. So aquamarine and morganite are both in the beryl family. And beryls also include heliodor, emerald, all similar in their crystal composition. They're the same crystal composition, and they get their colors from the different minerals that are in the when they grow in the mix. So they have a hexagonal structure. The thing that I find super interesting about some of these crystals that are also gems is sometimes you get ones like this that are clear and you can see somebody cutting a necklace or earrings or something out of this. And then you also get some, just for an example, this is an aquamarine, but it kind of looks more like a rock. And the reason that is they grow in a couple different ways. They're a hexagonal crystal structure, so like a six-sided tube. I'll pop an example up here of some gem quality ones so you can see how they normally would grow in just a hexagonal tube like form. But then they can also grow in what's called a habit, where the hexagonals kind of grow around an axis, and then it allows different ions and molecules in there, and it kind of changes the end result. So clearly I am not a geologist, and that is my minimal high level kind of explanation, how I sorted out to explain the difference, why some look like this and some look like that. But anyway, now we're going down a little rabbit hole there. So back to my favorite little guy here. This is aquamarine on the bottom, and the color of the aquamarine comes from the presence of iron in where it's grown. And then morganite is pink due to the presence of manganese in the area. So wherever this super special little guy grew, there was clearly iron, and then the iron stopped, and then there was manganese. So I ended up with this lovely example of the two in the same stone, and I just love it. This stone to me is peaceful and calm. It's very soothing. Morganite and aquamarine are both associated with water element. They're both associated with the heart chakra. And then the aquamarine also is associated with the throat chakra, so peaceful, calm communication. This is one that I'll just grab because I find it comforting and soothing, and I think it's just special. Super, super special. If you ever have a chance to find, I've never seen one. I haven't seen one again. I wish I had a source that I could buy a whole bunch like this, but this is the beauty of nature. Each crystal is its own special being, and I love it, love it, love it. And then just as an aside, emerald is the same beryl family, and that color comes from chromium. So, learn things every day, right? So fun. Another of my favorite stones in my collection is this raw chunk of crystal here. You can see the matrix. And what this is the purple is lepidolite. You can see, I don't know if you can see the pretty mica sparkles. It's picking up some. It's winter in Michigan, so we're a little gloomy and dark. There you can see some of the sparkle there. So it is lepidolite, and then we have green tourmaline growing in the lepidolite. And this one is so cool, so calming. I did a video about crystals to use when the world goes crazy, and lepidolite is my number one. Lepidolite contains a lot of lithium. So lepidolite contains lithium, and I also learned that green tourmaline also contains lithium, which makes sense if they're playing in the same playground and growing up together like best buds. So this one I do like to meditate with. I find it very calming and soothing. And the thing about green tourmaline is, you know, green, you can tell by some of the colors which part of your chakras it's gonna impact, but the green tourmaline really speaks to your heart, and it helps you get over emotional trauma, and it helps you resolve that so that you can get to some good solutions. And then the lepidolite is just calming and easy on the nerves, and together this is like such a beautiful specimen. I did, when I picked this guy up, I picked up a few and sold them in my shop, and they sold out pretty quickly. And I am always on the hunt. Again, this came from Brazil. Always on the hunt for more special stones like this. So, beauty. Such a beauty. I love it. Okay. And then the other special one I wanted to show you, since we're just doing a show and tell, show off kind of show here today, is I am really interested, when I started getting into crystals, into learning about why they grow in different shapes and how their molecules, like how does something grow the way it grows. And there are some crystals that grow in cubic form, and I was like, I want to find a really good example excuse me, of pyrite cubes because they're so pretty. And I found a couple, so we'll start with this one. And these are from Peru. A lot of the really good pyrite is found in Spain. It's actually found in lots of places in the world, but this came from a Peruvian vendor. And I don't know if you can see, there's a couple big squares on there. And then we've got all these little babies on the top. which are so cute. The camera is not picking it up super good, and I think it's reflecting on some things. There we go. There's a really good shot of the pyrite and then all its little babies on top. So I was so excited when I found this one because it really shows the cubes, and it's just a good example of how pyrite grows like that. And then I found this one, which I love equally, but for a different reason. Can you see those little quartz crystals growing on there? Just super cool. Pyrite and quartz often kind of grow together in the same area. And I love this one because it's like the pyrite is holding the little quartz crystals and keeping them safe. And you know, pyrite is one a lot of people use to manifest money and abundance. It's got a lot of power of the sun, a lot of energy, positive energy that way. And then crystal, quartz crystal, to me is an amplifier. So if you have some powerful money energy and vitality and sun energy, and then we've got a little pocket of quartz crystal growing with it, well, that's just supercharged, right? Gotta love that. So one more little show and tell, if I can get a really good shot of those little crystals. So cool. So cool and so pretty. So when I go crystal shopping, I like to find little unusual combinations or examples, mineral examples. I like all kinds of crystals. I put tumbled stones in my pockets. I use crystal towers in grids. I love heart, if it's heart-shaped, a heart-shaped carving, I can't even tell you how many I have. I'll have to count how many heart-shaped crystals I own because it's a lot. So I love crystals in all forms, but there's something about the energy and the feel of a raw crystal mineral sample that's just special, especially if you can find some of these really interesting combinations. So that's it. Do you have any wonderful crystals in your collection that you think are super special or interesting combinations? I would love to hear your feedback. Leave it down below. Again, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again next week. Love you guys. Bye.